Alright gang, thank you for your time. Let's go straight in with the content. It's the early part of the month. That means one thing. It's rankings time. Heavyweight division, top 20, reverse order. I generally do this in the form of a community post, but I'm going to do it in the audio realm this time around. Put your phone down, listen up. If you agree, let me know. If you disagree, let me know. Let's see your top 10, your top 5, your top 15, or your top 20 as I do it. See it in your comments. Let's have an engaging discourse and some good honest debate. Anyway, as I said before, let's go straight in. Top 20, hanging on as usual. He hasn't moved at all, but it's the Swede, Otto Wallin. Just about clinging by his fingertips. One more loss, we'll see him out of the rankings, no doubt. Number 19. He's gone down 4 places since our last rankings. I had him at 15, now he's 19. He was formerly the WBC heavyweight champion of the world. Slowly but surely, he's moving his way out of relevancy. It is the bronze bomber, Deontay Wilder. Did more harm than good, even though he did score a victory over the past weekend. Number 18, a new entry, first time in the LVD Sport top 20 heavyweight rankings, Justice Hooney, and he did so off the back of a defeat. Never let it be said that a defeat is the cause for a disaster. He's actually entered into the rankings off the back of a great performance. He just didn't get his hand raised at the time. Controversial circumstances, but Justice Hooney is in the top 20 LVD Sport rankings this month, 18. Number 17, our second new entry, our final new entry. Enter Moses. Moses Atama is finally in at the top 20. Some people would say he should be higher than what he is. Some people will say he shouldn't even be in, but he is. He's number 17, and he's going to go up higher should he defeat Dillian Whyte next month. 16, we have Michael Hunter Jr., another fighter who's just hanging on by relevancy. He's there by reputation, really. His past 3 fights haven't really been against anybody worth note. And he's had many fights, or several fights over the past year or so, against name opponents that haven't come to fruition. It's just the fact that he's staying active, is that he's still in the rankings, but he's working his way down slowly but surely. Michael, in short, shit or get off the pot. 15, somebody else who's still tumbling down the rankings as well. He has dropped down 1 place from last month, however. That's Big Joe Joyce. The losses are piling up. He's another one that needs to shit or get off the pot. I think it's 4 he's lost in his last 5, something along those lines. I don't have the numbers in front of me. But again, Joe Joyce, it's looking grim for Big Joe. 14, we finally have somebody who's moving up the rankings, and he hasn't done much by doing so. Up 4 places, it's Efe Ajagba. He did have a pretty reasonably good performance last time out in his draw against Martin Bakole. But the fight with Anthony Joshua is a natural, but for some reason it's not going to come together anytime soon. But number 14 in the rankings LVD Sport this month, Efe Ajagba. We await his next move. 13, the only man so far to defeat an Efe Ajagba, and it's a man who had big things tipped for him, but a loss to Agit Kabayel has really clipped his wings. He's had 1 fight since then. His style is not the best, and that's probably one of the reasons why he hasn't been given a few opportunities. But Cuba's Frank Sanchez, still highly ranked, maybe a little bit too high for where he should really be, but Frank Sanchez, this month, LVD Sport rankings, number 13. As we inch ever closer towards the top 10, we move to number 12, and that's a big rise as well for Fabio Wardley, Ipswich's very own. He's also up 4 places, from 16 to 12. His victory over Justice Hooney, even though there were some big departures and differences in the manner of his performance against Hooney, some things I didn't like the look of, I got to be honest. He did have the big equaliser, got the victory, and now he's ever closer to that top 10 spot. And maybe you could make the case that of the next couple of fighters that I'm going to list off, that maybe Fabio should be higher than those. But yes, Fabio Wardley is working his way up, number 12 LVD Sport rankings, July 2025. Number 11, this is where it gets a little bit controversial. He really shouldn't be this high, but he is there on achievement. The old campaigner is still there. From the years 2012 to about 2017, he could not crack number 18. He was bubbling in and around 18, 19, 20, or he was dropping out of the 20 altogether. But number 11, rising up 2 places because Jarrell Miller and Andy Ruiz Jr. have dropped out of the rankings due to inactivity. Number 11 is Derek War Chisora. Unbelievable. So that means we break into the LVD Sport top 10 heavyweight this month, and we're starting off another controversial selection, but again he's there through reputation, not reputation, but he's there simply because He hasn't had the defeats to knock him off. He's remained active, and he hasn't done anything really to knock himself down the rankings that much. But number 10, controversial, Dillian Whyte. He's not going to be there much longer, I would have thought. Of course, everybody and their mother is tipping Moses Atama to upset the apple cart and score the victory over Dillian Whyte. That's if Dillian does make it there. If it wasn't for the fact that Dillian had been active in territories where he doesn't have to face drug tests and the like, he would probably be unranked. But he's managed to circumnavigate his way around that, and he's simply because he's active and stayed relevant, he is in the top 10. Number 9, Martin Bakole has worked his way slowly down the rankings. Another one of those fighters. Since in the last 2 or 3 months, I had him as high as number 5. However, the short notice little defeat to Joseph Parker, and then he had no excuse really for the draw with F.A. Jagba. He thought he let himself down there. He easily could have won that if he was in just 15% more better shape. But Martin Bakole, even though he didn't lose, he has dropped down the rankings. Number 9, though he is a non-mover from last month. Another non-mover still at number 8, Zhilei Zhang. He's there, big bang. Another one he was as high as, I think I got him as high as 4 or 5 in the recent, up to about a year ago. But now he's dropped down to number 8 and we await his next move. Number 7, Filip Hrgovic. He's a non-mover, he's still there. Victory over Joe Joyce last time out, we were awaiting a big fight for him. He's biding his time. Number 6, Anthony Oluwafemi Joshua. He's there. Hiding behind injuries, hiding behind all sorts of things. He knows his next loss is his last loss. He cannot afford to be brought back and have 2 or 3 easy victories in steady succession. He's already done that before. He cannot do it again. And plus, he's at the point of such fragility that he's getting to the point where he could actually lose one of these preordained victory laps which he's been having in the recent past. Next move is going to be vital. Will it be Fury? Will it be a pushover? We'll find out. Anthony Joshua, number 6. Then we move to the top 5. Number 5, Agit Kabayel, is the one who's really proved himself, maybe out of all the heavyweights, to have bonused himself the most. Triple X his way up the rankings, and it's been Turki Al-Sheikh who's done it. One of the very few fighters who have actually bonused from, and not just through in the pocket, but from actually achieving in the ring. I think Agit Kabayel has proven himself to be one of the elite heavyweights. He's number 5 in the rankings at the moment. Fingers crossed, another big fight for him. We await. Then we move ever closer to number 1 now. And at number 4 in the rankings this month, it's Joseph Parker. The resurgence continues. Mysterious growth, physical growth, tucked away in Andy Lee's Dublin training camp. Who knows what's going on down there, but whatever it is, it's working, and Joseph's growing. We'll say no more. The WBO interim champion, but he is deserving of his big fight. Number 3 in the LVD Sport heavyweight rankings, it's Triple D, Daniel Dubois. He is the reigning champ. He's going to be, fingers crossed for him, on his side of things, he's going to be the undisputed champ in the next couple of weeks against Alexander Usyk. I can't see it myself, but you never know. All the unsettlement that's going on with Alex Krasik and the Alexander Usyk camp. Who knows what's going to happen over the next few weeks. Should be very interesting. But Daniel Dubois is number 3, which of course means, by process of elimination, for those of you who are still here and paying attention, thank you very much if you are still here. It's a real honour. Number 2 can only be Tyson Fury. I'm opting to keep him in the rankings, the LVD rankings, until December. I have a policy where you have to be active within 12 months, otherwise you are dropped out if you haven't got a fight scheduled within that time. Tyson Fury, because of his past and his ability to drop in and out of retirement at the drop of a hat, he's going to remain at number 2 at least until December. I think we're going to see him back in the ring. Which means, of course, and I'll be brief because you all know who it's going to be. Number 1, of course, is the real man, the real undisputed champion in all that name. He is the holder of 3 of the 4 main belts. Alexander Usyk, the man, the cat. Number 1 in the heavyweight division. Long may he reign, shall we say. But there we go. That's your LVD Sport rankings for July 2020 in the heavyweight division. As I said, I generally do these on a YouTube community post. Keep an eye out for those. I still update those. Don't get a lot of feedback. It would be an honour if you could. Welterweight rankings I generally do as well on a regular basis. I'm not quite sure if I'll do this audio format or on my usual community post. Let me know. I'll see how the feedback's like. If there's any other rankings you'd like me to do, top 20, I quite want to do any weight division that there is. And as I said, let's have some honest discourse, some engaging debate. LVD Sport, thank you very much for your time if you've made it this far once again. It's a real honour. Like, comment, subscribe. Thank you for listening.